The following is a transcript of a conversation between Matías De Stefano, referred to as me, and his higher self, referred to as I am. I am. Tell me, what do you see? Me. I see what my eyes allow me to see. I am. And are your eyes trustworthy? Me. No, they are just tools that try to do their best to capture light. I am. And depending on the needs of the environment, each eye has evolved to pick up light in a different way. An insect, a fish, a cat, a human, a bird, they all see differently, yet they observe the same thing. What we sometimes take for granted is that the things we see are really how we see them, and we ignore this truth that they are only as we are able to see them. Over millions of years of evolution, every organism has used the tool of light capture as a way to identify the space in which it moves. The eye is a cluster of photosensitive cells that convert light into electrical pulses through nerves, which conduct this data to the brain, which processes the image. Depending on the capacity and amplitude of capture of the light ranges that each individual or species possesses, the light will be fragmented and certain waves may be captured, or faster or slower, short or long, allowing to see more one color than another. This makes an animal that moves at night have greater capture of light, seeing many more nuances than a diurnal animal. Me. Basically, we all see what our ability allows us to see. I am. Reality is relative to the observer. Everything you see in the world, then, will depend directly on your ability to perceive it. The more limited your ability to look at the world, limited by your beliefs, by your ideological positions, by your experience, the way you see the world will be very basic and reduced, limited to the things you know, leading everything to comparison. But if you expand your world, if you open yourself to new realities, to new experiences, to other ways of thinking, other ways of acting, then your vision will be much broader, allowing you to integrate a much larger conception of the world, full of possibilities. Me. And how do I see the truth in all of this? I am. Truth cannot be seen, for no eye can see everything. Me. Well, everyone says that the one eye that sees everything is that of God. I am. Exactly. If it weren't for the fact that the God who looks doesn't have one eye, but so many that he is capable of seeing everything. Me. What would that be like? I am. When the vibration began to expand in the universe, it sought the limits of its space, just as that organism sought the space in which it moved. Then, through the appearance of energy, he was able to create light, and thus the light-generating vibration saw the directions of space. Depending on whether its resonant wave is short or long, the light would show one color or another, like a rainbow. The branching of the colors created a tree of possibilities, and each end of this tree began to search for the light. Thus, imagine that you are a single being that seeks to see everything, but a single eye would prevent you from really seeing all perspectives. Then that single eye of consciousness first divided into two, one looking towards the light and the other towards the shadows. Thus the balance was created. This balance allowed to focus a neutral path in the center, allowing beings to put together an accurate image from the image of polarities, and these in turn continued to multiply, up to billions, each leaf of the tree being one more eye. In this way, the great eye could see more and more. The paradox is that the greater the number of perspectives, the better understanding of the truth. Me. It seems counterproductive because there are more conflicts between the visions. How does the great eye see the real? I am. Because the eyes that look out expand their vision, but do not integrate it. To integrate it, the eyes must close and contemplate the reflection inside. Me, the pineal gland, the third eye, the trinity of vision. I am. The two eyes that represent duality focus on light and darkness, logic and illogic, free art and exact sciences, the feminine and the masculine, thus seeking the constant creation of new gazes. But behind both, in the center, the triune image of essence is formed. First of all, you must understand what has been said. Everything that your two eyes see is a perception of the external, and what is absorbed by the photosensitive cells and transmitted by the ocular nerves to the brain is simple data, like algebra, Morse code, or the bits of the screen you look at. The scent image is processed by the brain in a mirrored way in all its senses. The image is assembled inside as an opposite, almost like the negative of a photo, and said negative is assimilated by the neurons based on the previous data, quickly comparing this new information with everything previously processed. This generates a selective vision in which the highest percentage of what is received is discarded, since it is considered unnecessary information, since it is considered to already exist in the brain data library. And among those precise existing data are the emotional pulses from previously lived experiences, something we call preconception, that is, a previous concept, a previous fact or circumstance that determines all the following. In this way, our brain evaluates what it receives through its eyes, something we call prejudice, that is, something that has been considered fair before. In this way, the brain builds its interpretation of what it sees, so nothing you observe will ever really be the truth. Thus, the third vision, the internal one, is that of the concept, that of the idea. Me. That third concept, handled by the pineal, then, is not, as many believe, the inner truth, but rather it is precisely the idea that one has of the exterior. I am. It is very poetic to describe the inner look as the real one, but the truth is that the pineal is in charge of regulating the idea, not the truth. For this reason, unity is only possible from the Trinity, from 3 points of view. For this reason, the great I is always placed in the middle of a triangle or pyramid. Me. It is the symbol of God, but also of the basic concept of the philosophies called Freemasonry and Enlightenment, right? I am. Let's leave this topic for another time, because it will separate us from today's concept. We'll talk about it later. Me. Fine. I am. The great I, then, is the one who generates the pulse of existence through the triune aspect, vibration, energy, and matter, which will originate the attributes of love, wisdom, and will, which will manifest sounds, lights, and forms, which will later be observed by your right eye, left eye, and the pineal. This gland embodies the ideas of the spirit, of the universal mind, descending the consciousness to matter. But just as you open and close your eyes, this third eye does the same thing. It closes and opens. Hormonally, this gland is responsible for generating the chemical reaction that makes us sleepy and the one that makes us wake up. Biologically, we can see that waking up is inevitable, and it is what drives us to seek the light of day, to move in life and carry out our daily activities, while on the other side, the same gland tells us when it has been enough and we should go to sleep. It warns us through tiredness, exhaustion, our eyes closing forcibly, that it is necessary to sleep. Well, no one can live their entire life awake, since, surely, you didn't know, it is during sleep, while you sleep, that all the energy you have used during the day is assimilated by your body, nourishing each cell. It is the moment when you do not spend cellular energy, and therefore they can eat. Your body regenerates, nourishes itself while you sleep. Me. And on the level of the soul, the emotional, how do you live? I am. We call it the dream of the unconscious and the awakening of the consciousness, also regulated by the same gland and its hormones. Pineal comes from the concept pineapple due to the shape that this gland has in relation to the seed of the pine. The symbol of this seed represents an ascending and toroidal spiral that opens all the possibilities of the soul, being a tree that points to the heavens and therefore related to the divine connection. For this reason, it was interpreted in history that this center of power is the one that allows us to connect to the other planes and to divinity. And in a certain way, it does, making us dream in the world of ideas, or bring our dreams down to reality. But let's go to the basics, sleeping and waking up. As in biology, the soul also needs its time of wakefulness and sleep. You also need to sleep. The periods of unconsciousness are for the soul a kind of sleep in which experiences are loaded through errors and successes, living dreams and nightmares. Thus, at the moment of awakening, the power of all that experience is integrated, giving strength to face the transformation of life. No one is fully conscious their whole life, and what's more, nature doesn't want you to be, nor does divinity want you to be. Sometimes it is necessary to sleep. You should not judge yourself for being sleepy or waking up. It's natural. You can't judge others for being asleep while you wake up. The power of all that experience is integrated, giving strength to face the transformation of life. Me. I always said that those of us who wake up earlier have the responsibility and the loving service of preparing breakfast for those who are still trying to open their eyes. I am. And sometimes many of you are preparing breakfast half sleepwalking. Well, many of you walk awake still living the dream, with the pillow stuck to his face. Me. It's true, it happens to me many times. I am. It's normal. In a process as long as life, opening your eyes takes years. Every day your physical eyes prepare you for that moment, until one day you open the eyes of the soul. Me. The soul lives a very long life through many bodies. Is that why we say that our eyes are the windows of the soul? I am. Well, it's poetically on point. The soul has seen and registered in its energy all that it has experienced, translating it into you in the form of emotion. This makes our appreciation of the truths from the point of view of the soul, which we could see in the eyes. Me. So, in short, I can't see the truth. I can only see a part of it, little one. Also, being asleep in consciousness is not as bad as it seems. It seems that everything we have been told is some kind of hasty lie. I am. Actually, humanity is experiencing an awakening, and those who wake up earlier and see that it is a beautiful day do not want to miss a minute of that magnificent sun and want everyone to wake up to enjoy that sun together. What they ignore is that in 12 hours or less, the sun will disappear again at dusk, returning to night, to sleep. And it will dawn again. Me. It's constant. I am. It is a big problem to strive for something that is circular, to be linear, instead of learning to move with the rhythm of the universe. The need to wake up and be always awake in consciousness is the same as thinking about waking up today and never going back to sleep. If humanity enjoys sleeping so much, why can't they enjoy their period of unconsciousness? Me. Today I told my friends that something strange is happening to me that has never happened to me before, and that is that when I go to sleep, I hug the pillow and smile very hard, almost even with a giggle, with happiness. It never happened to me. I am. Because you are learning to embrace your shadow, to live here and now. You always used to live in the future, in what your eyes cannot see. It is the first time in your life that you appreciate the present, and therefore, closing your eyes does not hurt, because going to sleep implies being full in the present. Now, I propose something to you. Stand in front of the mirror and stare into your eyes, into your pupils. Let your perception and preconception show you how your vision of yourself is distorted until you lose the sense of your form, in which only your eyes remain. Lose track of forms and ask yourself, what do I see in myself? Can I smile at what I see? When I look in the mirror, do I accept what I see? What are the distortions that I do not accept in myself? They are only in my mind, and what I cannot accept in what I see, they are the preconceptions and prejudices that I have in what I see. My ideas of how the world should be, not how it is. Me. Many times when I look at myself, I do not accept many things about my body. My hair and my belly are the two things I have the hardest time accepting. I am. And why? Me. Before it was an aesthetic issue, but now being more aware, I understand that I deny so much of what I have in my mind, of what I know, of what I think, of what I have in my head, always hoping to be better, to be able to do it the best way, judging what I do as useless, that I have projected all that on my hair. And on the other hand, I see emotions as an impediment. Despite being very mental, I am too emotional, and I haven't been able to manage the things I feel very much, release them, which sums up my view of the belly. I am. In other words, your brain sees these two aspects as negative because there is a preconception of never being what is expected, of always looking for something better, and you see emotion as an impediment to achieving it. Me, I do. I am. Now that you have seen it, you make it aware. And every time you touch your hair, you tell it about your awakening of consciousness, about your ability to live in the present. And when you rub your belly, you tell it that emotions are all the tools you will use. You were just trying to understand how and the usefulness of each one. Talk to your body. Your body is not real. It is what your eyes see of it. Change your inner vision, and what you see will change. Me. The awakening of consciousness is a long way. It is accepting that the alarm clock has sounded. We all have a hard time getting out of bed. I am. No one is asking you to get up. The spirit is just showing you that it's a beautiful day outside and that breakfast is already served. Me. I open my eyes and I see the sun. I project a new vision on the day that begins. I am. Well, have a nice day.